Yeah, it's awesome to be here. In my opinion, this is one of the best days on the college baseball calendar with 307 teams in Division I to be one of the last two playing and practicing today. And Charles Schwab Field is a great honor and a testament to the hard work and execution of our team. I've documented it a lot. I would coach this team forever, and obviously the talent on it is exceptional. Just like with these two guys here, Anthony and Jake across the roster, but great people, completely bought into the mission of the team, and tremendous self-discipline, tremendous mental strength to go along with that talent, and very worthy of playing in the championship series, and very excited about the next couple days. Looking forward to playing a great opponent in Coastal Carolina, and Coach Schnall. I've known him for a very long time, consider him a friend, and have obviously had long-term respect for a program that's been one of the best in college baseball over the last couple decades. So wouldn't want to have it any other way, and very thankful for the team and the efforts that they put forward to put us in this position, and looking forward to a great championship series.
We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes. A reminder to state your name and media affiliation.
Andon Brabham, Tiger TV in Baton Rouge. This one's for Jake here in the back. As a young man from the state of Louisiana, growing up as an LSU fan, growing up in the culture, going to games, how important is it for you to represent not only LSU but the state of Louisiana and all the youth baseball players in the state on a stage like this, and how important is that for you in this moment?
I mean, it's awesome. This is something that I've dreamed of my entire life, as I know a lot of the other Louisiana guys on our team have. And this is everything that you've worked for coming up. I mean, in Louisiana, your dream is to play baseball for LSU, and then what goes with that is being able to represent it at the highest level of college baseball, which is something that this program has been able to do year in and year out. And really just super thankful for the opportunity that I've been gifted with, and looking to make the most out of it.
For Jake, Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles, American Press. When you're not starting, it's almost inevitable that sometime you're going to pinch hit. How do you stay ready for that?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff does a really good job of having me prepared and letting me know kind of when my opportunity will come. And so just being able to stay focused, stay ready during the game, knowing that the second my name's called upon, it'll be an opportunity for me to help the team win. So it's just taking it one pitch at a time, being where my feet are, and just staying prepared.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge, for both Jake and Anthony, if you could. Coastal's coach was just in here talking about microscopic focus and attention to detail, and when he says those things, I think immediately of your coach, right? Could you speak to the amount of preparation that Jay and the staff provide you guys? Any details that you would like to share about, like how it's helped you prepare for a game, and how it might impact obviously the biggest games in your life coming up?
I'll go first. Yeah, I think Coach Johnson is really good at simplifying the task for our team, just helping us understand that, no matter the situation, you're just playing the game, and the game is always going to be the same. So I think that he just does a really good job of preparing us.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, in our meetings before the games, there's a very clear set of instructions on what every guy needs to do to be able to be his best to help the team win in any given moment. And so everything's really straightforward for us. I mean, we came here to play baseball. We're not really scholars. So he does a great job of laying it out for us, and making going out there and executing as simple as it can be. So super thankful for that.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. This question's for both of you, either of you, whoever wants to take it first, go ahead. Going back throughout some championship teams here in the College World Series in Omaha, they learn through adversity throughout the year. You guys started the season 22-1, and your last 13 games you're 11-2. SEC play was, where you could have faced the biggest competition, the most adversity. What have you guys learned about, one, the position play group, two, the pitching staff?
You got it.
I would say that this is a really battle-tested team. I mean, we've played in just about every type of baseball game you can play in, from blowing people out to getting beat to coming back in games to winning with just by one run. I mean, it's a team that's really seen it all, and I think it speaks to the toughness of our team. The pitching staff is always ready to hand the ball off to the next guy, that guy always is ready to come in and do his job. And I think for the position players, it's just like we have 15 guys that can affect a game at any given moment, and it's just being ready to come in, do it one pitch at a time. Like there's no lead that we can't come back from, and I think we've known that. Which is, I mean, with 2 outs the other night, we're down by 2 runs still, and we're able to put together some tough at bats to come back right there. So I mean, it's a team that's really seen it all and is prepared to do anything. I think that's going to help us in the long run.
Scott Rappelay with the Baton Rouge Advocate. For Anthony, Jacob Morrison was in here saying he's willing to pitch 150 pitches if he has to in his start, and I'm sure you feel similarly. But your situation is kind of one of you might start and have a long outing, and then you might be asked to come in and get some key outs in relief. Just how do you approach that in terms of preparation and being willing to do whatever is asked at this in such a crucial series?
Yeah, I think that just comes with me week in and week out, being prepared for anything. And I think Coach Yeske and Coach Johnson do a really good job for just preparing our whole pitching staff to be able to pitch, whenever they have to, just in the best position to help the team win. I'm fine with pitching whenever, pitching, closing games, starting games. So I think just up to this point in the season, I've been prepared for it.
John Eads, WFB TV in Baton Rouge. Question for Jake, just because you were on the team last year. Coach said what y'all maybe lacked last season was a little bit of toughness, and that's maybe one of the reasons why y'all have been a little more successful this year. And, it's one thing to talk about having that, but what was the process like of adding that to this year's team, and how do y'all exemplify that?
I think a lot of it goes with having the right guys on the bus. I mean, we have a locker room full of guys that show up every day, super excited to be able to compete with people that are not just their teammates, but their best friends. I mean, we have a super close-knit group of guys that nobody wants to stop playing with each other. We want to have this team for as long as we can, and part of that goes with just not giving in. So it's a lot of guys that know that they're competing for each other, one common goal. And it's we're going to try to keep this team for as long as we can, so no reason to lay down now.
And in Brabham Tiger TV, this is another one for Jake. Coach Johnson talks a lot about being one-run ready. What does that look like for you guys stepping into the box, and especially for you when you're in a pinch hit role a lot of the time? What does that preparation look like throughout a game and before a game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's pretty laid out of what every guy needs to do to help a team win, and it's just really being focused, being where your feet are, and ultimately not trying to do too much. I mean, one-run games are normally won via a lot of a group effort, guys just passing the stick to the next guy and doing whatever it takes to come out on top right there, and that showed the other night. I mean, guys weren't trying to do too much. We were hitting the ball low and hard, able to have a couple fortunate plays go our way, and then swing at the end. Like, Jared knew that he didn't have to hit a home run to win the game right there, so he just was able to stay where his feet are, hit the ball low and hard, and that's what got it done for us that night.
Chesson Boucher with NBC 33 in Baton Rouge. Jake, since the postseason, Coach Johnson has talked about how things ended in the Chapel Hill Regional. Have you used that as motivation throughout this postseason?
A little bit, yes and no. I mean, I took a lot of pride in kind of flushing that moment to ultimately be prepared to be the best player that I could be this year. So, I mean, in a way, yeah, like obviously I want to go out and compete and win a national championship. I don't think that it has so much to do with last year, because the type of player that I am, I like to play pretty confidently. And so I know that I'm able to trust the work that I put in and trust my preparation and trust the coaching staff and the guys around me. So it's a lot of focus on this year, and that's kind of been the motto all year.
Ross Aboud with the LSU Reveille. Anthony, obviously, last outing against UCLA, don't start the best, give up those 3 runs. You never really got the chance to settle in. This Coastal team preaches scoring first. It's one of their big things that they just talked about. What's your mindset to stop that?
Yeah, to not let them score in the first. That's all it is.
Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles American Press again. I'm sorry, Jake, when you were growing up, what do you remember most about growing up as an LSU fan and wanting to play there?
Yeah, I just remember being a little kid that would come to the games and watch the games on TV, and those guys were like superheroes to me growing up. And so it's been a real pleasure of mine, something that I'm super thankful for, that I'm able to be that person nowadays. I mean, I enjoy giving back to the people that are just like me. That's why, like, if you look out, I'm tossing the ball into the stands to a little kid or something, just because I was in those shoes once and I know how much it means to be a little kid that's a fan of the LSU Tigers.
Kind of on that same vein for both of you, there's an incredible amount of spotlight when you play at LSU, and all of your successes are magnified, but so are your failures, I guess. How do you navigate that? Knowing Jake, kind of like you said, there's a good and bad to it, I guess. And then just Anthony, how new was that for you when you got to LSU, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, obviously, big crowd difference for me coming from UC San Diego here. I honestly didn't really think about it too much, just knowing that if I play a full season in front of fans, they're going to see me play good and bad. So just kind of took that how it is, just kind of disregard it and just play my game.
Yeah, I would say nobody dreams about playing in an empty ballpark. Like when you're a kid, when you're taking swings in the backyard, when you're doing all this stuff, you're dreaming about playing at the biggest spotlight, and that's what LSU is. I mean, if you want the chance to come and play the closest thing to professional baseball at a college level, this is where you come.
Koki Riley with The Advocate. Anthony, you mentioned how Nate Yeske does a very good job of laying out a specific game plan for you guys for the pitchers. What does that actually look like? Does he meet with you guys individually in terms of you're going to start today or you're probably going to come out of the bullpen today? And how does he sort of simplify things exactly?
Yeah, it'll be via conversation. Just tell him how I'm feeling. He'll kind of talk to Coach Johnson about what they're thinking about and expecting out of us pitchers, and yeah, I'll just keep relaying how I feel and things like that.
Clayton Collier with First Alert 6 back here. Jake, as you mentioned, is lifelong LSU fan. What do you remember about 2016 and that Coastal Carolina Super?
I mean, a little bit of heartbreak. I mean, that was a great team, a team that I think could have made a good run in the championship. Obviously, things didn't go our way that time, so looking forward to turning around and making something good happen for us this time.
We'll take one more for the student athletes.
Jacques Doucet, WAB-TV in Baton Rouge. I assume you guys play teams at times who have a chip on your shoulder because you're LSU. Coastal kind of made it clear they're not here to compliment LSU in the history. They're here to beat you. How do you counter that? Is it just LSU baseball as it always is?
Yeah, I mean, it's the other team. I think they're here to beat us, just like we're here to beat them. So I think if we execute and play our game, we'll have good results.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I mean, we've trained all year. We've been together since August for this. This isn't something that caught us by surprise. We knew we were meant to be here, and that's what everything that we've done, everything that we've set forth, all the hard work, all the preparation has brought us to this moment, and ready to go out there and compete and bring home number 8.
Jake, Anthony, we appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend, and try to stay cool.
Thank you.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach.
Coach Johnson, Chris Parks from News 13 in Myrtle Beach. Congratulations on getting to the national championship. Two-part question. Can you talk about your relationship with head coach Kevin Schnall? And then secondly, just the 16 heartbreak against Coastal Carolina when you were coaching with Arizona, please.
Yeah, for sure. I met Kevin a long time ago. Something that I learned early on was study the people that are the best at what they do. Skip Bertman, Augie Garrido, and then Gary Gilmore. I was very impressed with their program. I was at a mid-major at University of San Diego as the associate head coach for 8 years, and they were kind of one that we were kind of modeling and emulating on the West Coast. And so paying attention to what they were doing, and then going out recruiting and trying to make us a national program and going after the best players. I ran into Kevin on the recruiting front, and then just having good baseball conversations. And then, what I've always admired about him is the pride that he's taken in his job as a recruiting coordinator and now as the head coach. So ton of respect there. As far as 2016, unique situation for us. I went to Arizona and I didn't have one player that had ever played in the NCAA tournament before, and we were picked 10th out of 11 in the Pac-12. And, the fall we were really grinding to kind of see what we were going to be. And, it wasn't like a smooth deal. And then we came back in January, and there was about 5 pitchers that you started to look at and go, we're pretty good. And then a position player group that, part of the reason I accepted that job because I thought there was players that could play better than they had to that point in their career. And we got the ball rolling a little bit. I think we opened at Rice, and they were ranked in the top 10, and we won 2 out of 3 and got some good wins on the board, built some confidence. And then in the postseason, played really well, won regional at Louisiana Lafayette, super regional at Mississippi State, got here, and if I remember correctly, we both lost the second game and then had to both fight our way back to the losers bracket, and then won a 3-0 game and lost 2 one-run games. And, this is my spot in the world is Omaha. Like, this is what I dream about, and the first time being here, I just remember being very thankful to play 8 games, and in the moment was really tough. And it's no different than how I feel about this team or the 23 team or when we came here in 21 at Arizona, as they deserve to be here. And you want them to experience the full thing. And, we were 1 base hit away. And it took a couple years to get past that. But it doesn't change how I feel about Cody Raymer, Bobby Dahlbeck, J.J. Matajevic, Cameron Ming. I mean, I heard from all those guys in the last 2 days about our win the other night. So that's how close that was, and it really reminds me of this team, actually. But I think what I do remember about all of that is it's really helped me the next 3 times that we've been here in terms of knowing how to prepare for this, and that was kind of my main takeaway from it.
Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles, American Press. With both of them being left-handers, how do you handle that right field platoon, so to speak? I mean, how do you make the decision, I guess?
Yeah, I've never even really looked at it as a platoon, or nor have I ever looked at Josh or Jake as not a full-time starter. We have a national championship in 2023 largely because of Josh Pearson, both defensively and offensively, and there's nothing that he has not seen over the course of a 4-year college baseball career. If you ask me, and I don't mean this from a statistical value, but who's had the most complete 4-year career of the last 4 years of college baseball in terms of national championship, Omaha experience, regional, super regional, high level throughout the season, Josh Pearson would definitely be on that list. And Jake, in my opinion, is one of the best players on our team and provides a lot and is one of the main reasons we are here in this position. So it's literally looking at it game by game. And, we've been very fortunate with our outfield situation. Chris Stanfield's been a tremendous center fielder. Derek Carriel has to be on a very short list of one of the best freshmen in the country. And so to have 4, and even I would throw Ashton Larson into that too, 5 guys that you can run out there, not many programs have that. So we look at it game by game and try to put them all in positions to be successful, and I think we've done a good job of that this year.
Alan Blondin with Myra News in Myrtle Beach. Jay, what aspect or aspects of your team, your program, your season do you believe may give you an advantage in the series, if there is an advantage to be had?
Yeah, I think if you're at this point in the NCAA tournament, you've been battle tested, so I think that's just the way that it is. I think for our team, I don't believe there's anything we have not seen. And what I mean by that is high-level pitching, high-level bullpen, high-level defense, offenses with speed, power, hitting skills, know how to play the game, move the offense. So I feel like we're very prepared. And we really just leave it at that. I said this earlier in the week. One of my attitudes about all of this is everything is training for something. And I feel like we're well-trained, well-prepared for, in my opinion, probably the best team that we've played this year in Coastal.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Coach, after the Arkansas game, you mentioned that there was nobody in the city of Omaha that was happier than you that you were getting 1-2 days off, too, that you weren't playing on Thursday. I assume over the 2 days you've looked at Coastal. What do you assume are their strengths that you're preparing for? And also, Coach Schnall revealed their Game 1 starter. Are you willing to do the same?
Well, I didn't hear that yet officially, so I trust you. But and when I know, everybody else will know. So, no, I would not at this point in time. What was the question before that?
What have you learned through scouting Coastal?
Yeah, a lot, and nothing really of a surprise. I love college baseball, so there was a Tuesday or Wednesday night game. They were playing against Clemson. I was at home. We weren't playing, so maybe it was a Wednesday night, and I watched them play Clemson. So the strengths are undeniable. Great starting rotation, use their bullpen really well. Offensively, clear identity. I think that's really important. Something we try to do as well is play to the identity of your team. They're excellent at getting the leadoff man on base. They use the bunting game about as good as anybody that does in college baseball. And again, that's a 20-year thing. That's not a 2025 team thing. They play really good defense. They don't beat themselves. You have to win the game. And I said this very similarly to when we played UCLA the other day. You have to win the game because they're very fundamentally sound, and they're gonna play the right way. So you have to execute your game plan and execute your fundamentals to earn the win against them.
Jay, Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. With all the weather delays issues this year, how much have you had to embrace your inner meteorologist? And to that end, the weather forecast for Saturday and Sunday anyway is very hot, with the wind just potentially howling in from right or from center, maybe blowing it out a little bit to left. You prepare for a lot of different things. How much does the weather or the potential weather factor into your preparation?
I didn't hear you say anything about lightning, right? All right, then I'm good with everything else. No, it's just part of the deal, and we talked about it after the Monday, Tuesday, game with UCLA. It's like, if I could control the weather, I wouldn't be a college baseball coach. I'd probably be doing something else. But it's just part of the deal, and I'm really thankful to Randy here and the staff, how they handled that, the professionalism, a lot of smart people working on it to keep the integrity of the games and the integrity of the tournament. From a coach's chair, when you're competing for a championship, that's really important. And so thank you for that, and great job. As far as the conditions, playing all 8 games here in 2023, we had wind blowing straight in for the majority of the tournament, and then we had the wind blowing out that one game against Florida, and it's shifted. And it's just something that you kind of expect, this time of year, and the conditions change. As far as the heat, just want the players to be ready for that, and we've dealt with it in the postseason. The Super Regional Game 1 against West Virginia is no question the hottest baseball game I've ever been a part of. I just stood on the top steps, gave signs, walked out, made a couple pitching changes, and Saturday night I was like, man, that was something else. I don't know how Luis Hernandez or Steven Milam or Kate Anderson getting through 7 innings in that game were doing it. So luckily, we've had a lot thrown at us that I think keeps us prepared, and just try to stay out ahead of it and use all things to our advantage.
Hey, Jay. Corey Diaz with the USA Today Network and the Daily Advertiser. It seems like outside of the state of Louisiana, America's rooting interest is with Coastal. Do you guys like that?
I wouldn't even know how to gauge that. They're a great program for a long time. LSU's a great program for a long time. 2 worthy opponents in the College World Series, and it'll make for excellent baseball. Fortunately, being in this deal 3 times, you're not playing a team that doesn't care about and invest in baseball in the championship series, or really in the College World Series. So I think it's awesome.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Coach, a lot of people this weekend will focus on the differences between an LSU and a Coastal, a Sun Belt versus SEC and all that. What would you tell those folks that there's maybe more similarities between the programs than they realize?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. I would say recruiting at an elite level, and that might mean different things. I think I have a unique perspective on this. I haven't always been at LSU, or even Arizona. It was, Point Loma Nazarene, University of San Diego, University of Nevada. And I know what it's like to try to build one of those, and when you knock off that Power 5, how that lifts you in the regular season, not only in the postseason, and the attitude that you have to carry, you know, to be that and to do that. So I have great respect for that, but this is about execution, and it's about baseball, and it's about pitchers throwing strikes, your defense handling the ball, your offense stringing quality at bats together. And when I look at their team, I see a lot of our team.
Ainsley Flood, the Reveille. Something you've praised a lot about this team this season is their maturity and their mental strength. Exactly how big was that in pushing through the Arkansas game, and how crucial will that be this weekend?
It was everything in that game, and it'll be everything this weekend. And, you know, the longer I do this, the older I get, it really simplifies of what you need to do to get here and to succeed here. And I think that was on full display. And how the game transpired and the end of it like kind of flooded me with like, I can't believe we just did that. But at the same time, we've done it several times this year. And I'm just very impressed with our players' ability to focus on the task at hand, focus on execution, completely eliminate the external, and focus on what's relevant. Like, that's a core principle of our program, is focusing on what's relevant. And these guys do a great job of that.
John Eads, WFB TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, after the regional, you mentioned that y'all had a big players meeting. The players spoke. I'm wondering, since that meeting, what was said that's been impactful, and how has the team evolved since then and gone on this tear in the Supers and obviously here in Omaha?
Yeah, I think, again, whether it's Omaha, super regional, we don't attach anything to it. We try to be awesome at our process of winning, and part of that is feedback. There's a really good book called Legacy about the All Blacks rugby team that never lost, and there's a core principle in there of team and player meetings and then presenting feedback for improvement. And even as you're at the top of your game, adjusting and improving. And that's just something that I've tried to bring to the program. And, you know, we did it the other night. Like, I mean, this was unbelievable. I wasn't going to stop the celebration and go like, okay, guys, now let's break the game down here. Like, but when we got back to the hotel, we needed to do it. And, you know, so Chase Shore's, you know, coming up and talking, and Jacob Myers coming up, and Zach Cowan coming up and talking. That's just like part of our deal. So I actually don't even remember specifically which one you were talking about, just because it's kind of commonplace with how we roll.
Yeah, Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. I asked the players about handling the spotlight, and clearly you have a lot of, you know, eyes on your program, I guess. How have you instructed them, or what tools have you used to help them navigate their successes and failures?
It's a really good question. It's honestly one of the reasons I took the job in the first place, was to test myself, test what I believe in, and spotlight, no spotlight. The fundamentals of winning and running an elite Division I baseball program are exactly the same. And our opponent does it really well. And we do it really, really well. And it's proven to work out the way that I thought it would. But I wanted to test it in an arena where it's only a blessing to have so many people care about what you're doing. And that is what I will say about LSU, is there's not another baseball program in the entire country where more people care about what you're doing. And I think it's an awesome honor for these players, because their effort deserves people to care about what they're doing. You know, no different than our opponent. And but I think it's something that makes it special. But the challenge, not the challenge, the coaching point is of, regardless if one person is watching or the eyes of the world are on you, execution is execution. And toughness is your ability to focus on what you need to do to execute your plan, regardless of circumstances.
We're going to have time for one more question for Coach.
Koki Riley with The Advocate. Coach, after the Little Rock loss, it felt like you guys found a formula with the lineup for lefties and for righties that has sort of really helped out and worked out for you guys up to this point. What did you sort of learn in that game that sort of informed the sort of formulas for lefties and righties up to now?
Yeah, I don't know that it has to do with left or right so much. I had this year when we were 31-3, or somebody 22-1, somebody had said, and caught a really good roll of what the formula for winning was with this team early in the season. And then you're going to get tested with the schedule that we play and exposed, which in my opinion is a good thing. And I mentioned that everything is training for something and being built for postseason play. All of that was kind of thrown into a bucket to move us closer to our best team. And you guys have heard me say for 4 years, we treat every game like a playoff game, because forget Omaha, being in the NCAA tournament is not a birthright. You have to win games. And so I think we were just continually using the season as it came along to find out what works best. And just even to the other night, it was a grind to get to the starting lineup, knowing what Arkansas was going to do, what they had available in the bullpen. And it literally probably took till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it doesn't have as much to do with how you set it as how the players execute. And we have them all in a really good space to execute at a high level, and they have talent and they have ability, and you can win against some of the best teams in the country. As far as that game, I don't remember anything specifically that kind of catapulted us forward.
That'll conclude our press conference. Coach Johnson, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hammond